Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Daylight, clear skies, cool morning. Here we go. May 14th, 2019. We have from William Bellows Company, which is no longer independent for the last 70 years probably. Bellows Club Whiskey, American blended whiskey, blended and bottled at Frankfort and Claremont, Kentucky. Under United States government supervision. Bellows and Company, an honored name since 1830. Well, that's true. It has been around since 1830. It was founded then. I don't know about honored, an honored name. I don't know too many people that talk about Bellows in some kind of awe. There's the old label with the housefly on it. Kind of a strange insignia, huh? A housefly in a laurel. It's probably some kind of lodge symbol or something, you know. All right, it's like some secret code. Straight whiskeys in this product are 4 or more years old. 80% grain neutral spirits, 20% straight whiskey. No. This was when it was under Jim Beam case, or the Beam Company was. Jim Beam is a brand, not a company. So the Beam Company bought it, maybe straight from Bellows. I don't know. This is a liter bottle. I bought this at International Market, and I think it was $8.99. I'd never seen it anywhere else, so I figured I'd buy it. Now, I did see it at a restaurant called Chinese King up on the shelf in the bar. In an old bottle like this, I said, well, that's their whiskey that they use, you know. But I've never seen it anywhere else. All right. A few years ago, and I don't know the exact year, but I was reading an article about it. It doesn't really matter, but a few years ago, Jim, it was probably after Suntory bought Beam, but Beam sold off a lot of their brands to Luxco, makers of Everclear. And so now Bellows is still around, but I haven't seen the club whiskey listed on their website. So it might have been discontinued. However, the Luxco website is kind of in disarray in a way. It's not very well organized, and it's hard to figure out what they've got actually. So kind of like the Beam Suntory website, which lists many of their products, but not nearly all of them. At least Miller Coors will list all their stuff, you know, for beer. Now we're going up against the modern one. Jeremy Vincent says, morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Jeremy. We're going up against Bellows Blend. That's what it's called. This whiskey is blended for maximum smoothness. Now, you see, that's a claim, right? A name of honor, William Bellows, established in 1830. Once again, I don't know anybody who says, oh, you know, I'm so honored to drink Bellows. American blended whiskey, not Canadian blended whiskey, which is the normal thing you get from Canada, not Irish blended whiskey, the normal thing you get from Ireland, or Scotch, blended Scotch whiskey, the normal thing from Scotland, although single malt is kind of taken over. But bottled by Bellows and Company, St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, really, it's Luxco. Are whiskey companies allowed to use an alias name? Yes. As long as it's registered as an alias with the U.S. government. 20% grain neutral spirits, 20% straight whiskeys. What are the straight whiskeys in Bellows? I don't know. Notice it doesn't say distilled in Missouri. It says bottled in Missouri. What does that mean? Well, you know what that means. That means it's probably coming from Midwest Grain Products of Indiana. Blended, prepared, and then sold as a commodity to Luxco for bottling purposes. I think the only thing Luxco really does is they have a bottling plant and they own brands. Okay. Kind of like Majestic Distilling in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. Maybe they blend there, and maybe they age it there, but I'm thinking it's like Luxco. They probably just bottle it there. Okay. No aging or blending. Okay. But I don't know this, but I get the feeling. Luxco is talking about, we have new distilleries, which we own in Kentucky, and on their website, they talk about them. Well, what is that telling you then? That's where their distilling is going on. I don't want to get into too much into Luxco. You can find their stuff around. Their most popular is Everclear, right? You see everybody has that liquid. It's poisonous if you just drink it like an idiot straight, but then it's created to be a base to make your own liquor, not to drink. I see people at the baseball game drinking those daiquiris made with the diesel, which is the Sazerac version of Everclear. And I'm thinking, why would you drink a daiquiri made with like almost 100% pure alcohol? And you can tell it's effective because they get more like obnoxious. But that's their business. Bro. No, it's not the diesel that was making me go bleh. It was the daiquiri, you know, like that snowball syrup stuff. Ugh, can't stand it. All right, so Club Whiskey. This is an old bottle. I think it's from 1994. Yeah, I like to go to international market because they have some strange things. Unfortunately, I always end up buying stuff and I don't need anything else. I'm pretty sure it says, yeah, it's got to be a 94 bottle, 1994. Imagine that. This is old. 1 liter for $8.99. I'm game. Must be game. I drink 40% of it already, or 35% of it. My prediction, I will be able to tell them apart. Why? Because the Bellows Club Whiskey has sort of a harsh rye note. I don't know what Beam was thinking when they owned it. It was like, why would you make something so harsh? And once again, people might say, you don't like rye whiskey, just admit it. No, that's not true. I drank a whole bottle of Sazerac rye, you know, over a long period of time. It was wonderful, but it's this harshness. It's like they took old Overhalt that didn't come out right and mixed it with the grain neutral spirits and made this blended whiskey and figured, oh, well, it's cheap. The people won't care. Maybe that's true. Now, Luxco seemed like they do a little better job with it. Or maybe their contractor does a little better job with it. I'm saying MGP. I can't confirm that. I just suspect that. Now, you see Bellows, it says blended and bottled at Frankfurt. Doesn't say distilled there, though. It says American blended whiskey. American, all that means is got to be in America. It could be any state. And it was probably being contracted from Seagram's in 94. Beam was telling Seagram's, we'll pay you this much money to send over a bunch of cheap 4-year-old whiskey. And they said, okay. Then they went out of business, so it's MGP now. Let's see, 1 liter. 80. What does that mean? 80. Is that an indication? Oh, well, it tells you right there, 80/20. No age statement though on this one, so that means it's at least 4 years old. So they're both 4-year-old whiskeys. What's the minimum? 2 for straight bourbon. These are not going to be erudite. You know what I'm saying? These are not. Does Beam still make a cheap blended whiskey? Yes, they make a lot, but the one that you see all the time is Kessler's. That's their flagship blended, the one they'll even admit to. same color, gold, amber. So color is no issue here. Kessler's was all right. You know, it was all right. I didn't have much of it. I only bought a small bottle just to sample. If I had to drink a blended whiskey, Kessler's would be one of the ones I wouldn't mind being stuck with. But I think I'd still choose Seagram 7 Crown. That's my favorite American blended whiskey so far. So far, my favorite American blended whiskey. Seagram 7 Crown. It's a 75-25 blend. All the rest have gone to 80-20, the minimum. You got to be at least 80. You can be no more than 80% grain neutral spirits. In other words, moonshine. You know what I'm saying? Unaged corn whiskey. If you go above 80, then it becomes what the U.S. government calls spirit whiskey. My playback is stuck. I hope it's not stuck on your end. I hope y'all can still see it. I use Chrome, but it tends to get stuck on the playback that I'm watching. So let me know if it's not playing. All right. So 75-25 is not usual. 80-20 is the normal ratio. Then I have this one called King Square, which is 72.5, 27.5, even higher percentage of straight whiskey. I'm not gonna say it's better. It's an unusual product. We'll get back to it soon. But yeah, if you go above 80% grain neutral spirits, then it's what they call spirit whiskey. Spirit whiskey, which is no more than 19% straight whiskey. Can you buy spirit whiskey at the store? You certainly can. They make a lot of it. Southern Comfort, you know, the whiskey liqueurs, that's spirit whiskey. There's one I see at the store over here called the Spirit of Texas or whatever, Texas Spirit. It's spirit whiskey. I'm like, why would somebody pay $29 for a fancy bottle of spirit whiskey, which is like 83% corn alcohol, grain alcohol? But it's got a cork, you know, and it's like a decanter bottle. It's fancy. It's from Texas. And I guess if people like it, what's the difference? And well, heck, they'll pay $20 for a mason jar of moonshine, which is 100% grain neutral spirits. But then they'll have the peach flavor, the lime flavor, the whatever flavor. I mean, that's fine if that's what you want to drink. It's just like flavor vodka, but you know, hey. Scruffy's the janitor says it's working. Okay, I thought it was. It's just sometimes on the playback when I'm seeing it'll be froze up, which is fine with me. I don't care as long as you could see it and it's not a frozen video. But the playback helps me see what y'all. I used to love Southern Comfort, but since I quit all the junk sugary foods, it tastes like straight sugar to me. I've never tried it. I know Janis Joplin used to drink a lot of it, too much of it. She might still be singing if she'd have stuck to Southern Comfort and didn't, you know, enjoy the heroin. And then get into a bad verbal conflict with heroin dealers over there in Los Angeles. Bad idea. Then be found dead in a bed. Not in the bed, on the bed, laying on the bed. Strange. All of a sudden, she forgot how to give the right dose to herself. Some people think maybe she was held down and was given a hot shot dose. You say in Los Angeles? Murder? Not in that city. No, not there. Not Bobby Fuller. All right. These do not smell alike at all. Let me tell you. You might say, oh, it's just the same whiskey with a new label. No, 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 no. Oh, and how old is the Bellows bottle? It's new. You can see it looks new, and it says, what year? 2015? Yeah. See, a lot of times at the bottom of the whiskey bottles, they'll have the date at the bottom stamped. 2015, yeah, that's 4 years old, but I've had the bottle for 2 years, so it wasn't old when I bought it. I don't know where international market gets all these weird things. Now, you might live somewhere where you say, hey, Bellows is common where I live. It's not common here. Okay, so this one smells spicy. Okay. First thing we get, charred oak. If you drink this without knowing it, you might think it's bourbon. You say, that's a light bourbon. Yeah, well, it has some bourbon in it, 20%. So we got charred oak and grain alcohol, like it's 40% alcohol. So you're going to pick that up, but it's not harsh in any way. And I'm afraid I'm getting a lot of spiciness in my nose. Pepper? No. Rye? Yes. Over here. Oh, here we have that strange melon. You get these American blended whiskeys, and I don't know what causes it. Don't know now, won't know tomorrow, probably never know in the future at any point. They'll smell like a honeydew melon. You say, no, whiskey doesn't smell like a honeydew melon. I'm telling you what I'm smelling, okay? And it goes across the board, especially with Heaven Hill. But their blend is like an unpleasant honeydew. This is not. Still, I don't think it should smell like that. I don't think whiskey should smell like honeydew melon, but what about wood? Yeah, charred wood, not really, just like wood. And corn, sweet corn, government subsidized corn. I guess this one on the left smells better. It has a richer, more bourbon type aroma. So on aroma, I would rather, and I know that's the Bellows Club whiskey. That's the Bellows Club whiskey. On aroma, I'd rather have that. But you got to drink it. And that's where it breaks down. If all you had to do with Bellows Club whiskey was smell it, you'd be all right. If you mixed it, well, you wouldn't notice anything. But you drink it straight, oh. Watch. I'm telling you, it's not official yet. I'm about to make it official, but I'm going to taste it first. It is a taste challenge. I've been burned too many times doing that. Nice little swishiness, watery. I've been burned too many times doing that jumping the gun identification. That's a lot of spice. I think Jim Beam was trying to make a joke. I mean, Beam Company. I keep saying Jim Beam. That's just a brand. But people call Anheuser-Busch Budweiser, right? Budweiser did this, Budweiser did that, but it's really not Budweiser. It's like they played a joke on people. Say, let's make it really high rye and see if we can gag people as a gag, a joke, and it works because it's a little rough. Over here. Wood, more wood in the taste here. Vanilla, dried flowers, like the nectar, but it's like dried, like you get dried flowers. Maybe a little of that candied fruit that we've talked about in the past. Oh, my nose. That kind of situation, it's pretty standard. It's kind of like Kentucky Dale from Sazerac. Oh, that's really bland. It's like everything you always wanted in a blended whiskey and way less. Less flavor, less character, less bouquet, less everything. Kentucky Dale. You get the same amount of alcohol. Alcohol, 80 proof, but the flavor is so vacant. I saw Kentucky Dale last night. I had to shake my head. And they were multiple bottles, big plastic bottles, the regular 750 glass bottles of Heaven Hill Kentucky blended whiskey. That must be the most popular blended whiskey around here, southeastern Louisiana. Heaven Hill. I said, oh no. Talk about a melon flavor. But people buy it like cuckoo crazy. Guess because it's so cheap, but and the label is nice looking. Makes it look old timey, like an old country store placard. I haven't tried either of these, unfortunately. No, you might be fortunate actually. You know what I mean? But if you're like me, you want to try even though it might not be good, you know. Yowza. Yowza, that's peppery. I'm telling you, I don't know how you feel about a high rye content, but this is about as high as they can go with the rye. I think they used Old Overholt, which I can get at Walmart right there, cheap. I can go to DoorDash, get the Old Overholt red label, the 100 proof. Yes, I can. If I didn't have all that backstock, I'd do it. But I think what happened was they had Old Overholt that didn't work out so well. And so they blended it with 80% grain neutral spirits from Seagram's in Lawrenceville, Indiana, and say, okay, there's your product. If it's at the Chinese restaurant eating sweet and sour pork and egg rolls, and you're drinking this, and they made some mixed drink, you're not going to sit there and examine it like I'm doing and talk about, oh, this, that. You're just going to drink it. You're not going to care probably. Or you're mixing it with 7-Up or Coke. You know, like, I guess it's fine for that. But to sit there and drink it straight, oh, all the badness comes out. Bellows. It's more caramel and more wood. Hey, look, if you're just looking to do highballs, you want some whiskey and water, seltzer water and whiskey. Sure, it'll work. On a hot day, you put it on ice, and you know the ice is going to almost instantly melt in with the whiskey, and it's going to be so watered down and be watery. Oh, well, that'll be fine. It doesn't have a lot of character. It has some. You can pick up things, notes, telling you the caramel, the wood, dried flowers, all that. It's just so muted relative to like a straight bourbon. It's muted. But if you practice, like I'm practicing, you see, practice makes perfect. If you're practicing, you pick up on these notes so quickly. Now, which one tastes better? Okay, all right. Club whiskey. Pepper. I like pepper on, you know, lasagna or potato soup. I don't know about whiskey though. Wood. It's amazing how in the aroma it's really not there, but in the flavor it's just like drinking a glass of wood. You like charred oak? Do you like wood? This could be for you. So if you want a cheap whiskey that tastes like bourbon, and in fact is almost certainly made with bourbon 20%, get the Bellows. It'll do the trick. In other countries, it's sold as bourbon. True story. Go to Europe, they'll say that's a bourbon. It's not, but our laws don't control Germany, you know, so in America, it cannot be called bourbon. It's blended whiskey, all right? But I have seen foreign websites where they'll call it bourbon. No, 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 no. It could become bourbon. Now, what I'm saying is, you could take this, then you age it for a period of time in a charred oak, never before used charred oak barrel. White, it didn't have to be white oak, but that's what they use. And then you could have bourbon. If you aged it for at least 2 years, then you'd have straight bourbon. You say no, because they use grain neutral spirits. That's corn whiskey. Well, what do you think bourbon is? Bourbon has to be 51% corn. Well, that's probably 91% corn if you want to be techno. 91% corn. So if you took it and then you aged it in never before used charred oak barrels for at least 2 years, and you have straight bourbon. You say, but who's going to do that? Correct. Nobody. I didn't say if you wanted to, but no one's gonna, you know. But I think I prefer the Bellows, because that club whiskey has a weird twang at the end, and I don't like it. I don't know what that twist is. It's some kind of dough and that strange rye spice, and even some melon coming into play. You know what, Jim Beam? I'm sorry. You know what, Beam Company? You know what you did, Beam? You did a bad job, okay? I'm glad you sold it to Luxco, because they're doing a better job. You obviously didn't care about the quality of it, so you put out this. Bad job. Now, if you look on the Beam Suntory website, they have a huge array of blended whiskeys, especially in Spain. Now, I don't know what the story is there, but there's this whole, it's like DYI. I don't know what DYI means. It's probably some Spanish abbreviation. But that's like a big deal over there. They got their own website. It's like, oh, yeah, you know, mucho gusto, señor, DYI. You know, La Casa Fiesta, you know, and it's like, okay. I have never seen it. I tried if the price was tolerable. Over here, I couldn't lose because I'm paying $8.99 for a liter. Okay, so the as it turns out, the Bellows wins by virtue of a better flavor, a more bourbon-esque flavor, more of a bourbon flavor, a less oddball, oddity, unpleasant experience as you sip down the glass. So if you ever see these two, and chances are you won't, but if you do, I would say go with the Bellows, the modern one. I don't even think club whiskey's made anymore. What's coming up next? I think I'm going up against a bunch of Heaven Hill brands. Yeah. Yep. So we'll see Bellows versus everybody else. So I'm going to say club whiskey. Yep, BC, Bellows Club Whiskey. And remember, I guessed it on aroma only. On aroma only, I had it nailed. That's how unusual the club whiskey is. It smells like nothing else. And it certainly doesn't taste like anything else. So it is unique. If you want to try a strange whiskey that is unlike anything else you've ever had, yeah, well, you could get the club whiskey. But just be warned that you may not like it. It does have that beam bottle, though. Look at that. Go buy a bottle of old Overholt, a liter bottle, and then get this, and you'll say, hey, that's the same bottle. Yep, that's right. I haven't tried. He said, cool. Jeremy says, cool. Okay. Well, if you ever visit here, I got a lot left. You can try them both, to your great dread. To your misfortune, you can try them both. Oh, well. Thanks for watching this video production, people. I might post tomorrow. I have a lot of thinking to do. I'm trying to balance all this out. I might post Bacardi Superior. In other words, I might drink for Wednesday, drink the Bacardi Superior and post a review. And then on Friday and next Monday, sip on the Taka. That'll get that bottle well done down. And then next Wednesday, do the Castillo silver, and then do the more sipping on the, in that same pattern over the next month or two. And then I can bring those bottles down to 0% full. And then I can do the Bellows, the Bacardi Superior this week. Next week, the Castillo on the 22nd. The 29th of May, what's that other white one I have? The Skull. And then into June, the Aristocrat white and the Caliber. You say Caliber, not Caliber. Yes, the Caliber. And then go down the line with those. And I think this coming weekend, they're having a party next door. I'm going to be able to get almost all of that cherry pie liqueur drunk down. The pie hole cherry pie, that liter, because I think they're all going to want to try it. Let me try it. So then I can get them to drink it all, and I won't have to drink it. You see, I'm not throwing it out. I'm not going to waste it. My daughter might want to try it if she comes over, and then I can. I only paid $1.99 plus tax for it. So that's the game plan. So you might see the Bacardi Superior as early as tomorrow if this game plan goes into effect. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it because it's not definitive, so I don't have anything to stick to. Thanks for watching this video production.